novel coronavirus, or COVID-19, was confirmed in the United States on January 21st, 2020. Strangely enough, January 21st, 2020 was also National Hug Day in the United States. Social distancing, anyone? A 2014 study from Carnegie Mellon University suggested that a hug a day may, in fact, strengthen our immune systems. I wonder what happened to that during COVID. Also in 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 mysteriously vanished in February. Born in Penang, Malaysia, the famous shoe designer Jimmy Choo has marketed women's shoes that retail in excess of $4,500 a pair. $4,500 would feed the average family of 4 in the United States for 7 months. Also, the average family of 4 uses up to 260 gallons of water per day. 260 is the area code for parts of Indiana, including Fort Wayne. And today's most smartest question: when did the U.S. first start easing rules regarding wearing face masks? The first professional baseball game ever was played in Fort Wayne, Indiana on Thursday, May 4th, 1871. Hey, subscribe to our channel and you'll be most smartest. Another great thing to happen on a Thursday: Leonardo da Vinci was born Thursday, April 15th, 1452. The Thursday of Da Vinci's birth was a full 40 years before Columbus even sailed the ocean blue. Speaking of blue, it is my favorite color. Also, the blue whale is the largest animal that has ever lived on the planet Earth. 29% of people state that blue is their favorite color. 29 is a perfect hand in cribbage. Cribbage is a card game that uses 5 cards per hand from a standard 52-card playing deck. Randomly picking 5 cards from a standard 52-card deck will result in 2.5 million different hands. 2.5 million T-Rex dinosaurs roam the Earth, but not all at once. That would have been too scary. The bone-chilling, theater-shaking T-Rex roar in Jurassic Park was actually the recording of a baby elephant slowed down. The word elephant comes from the Greek word elephas, which means ivory. Contrary to popular belief, not all ivory is illegal. The laws pertain most directly to endangered elephants. There are other animals that also produce ivory. For example, elk have 2 ivory teeth, which are believed to be the remnants of tusks from their ancestors. The journals of Lewis and Clark were bound in elk hide. Lewis and Clark first met in the Army in 1795 when Lewis was court-martialed for supposedly challenging a lieutenant to a duel. He was found not guilty, but sent to a different Army camp so there would be no issues. Lewis's new lieutenant was William Clark. Also in 1795, Kentucky and Vermont joined the U.S. as states number 14 and 15. 2 of Vermont's most famous residents are Ben and Jerry, who make ice cream. Perhaps you have heard of them. Ben and Jerry's most popular flavor worldwide is chocolate chip cookie dough. Chocolate chip cookies were an accident. In 1939, Ruth Wakefield added Nestle's semi-sweet chocolate to her cookies thinking they would melt. They did not. The rest is history. Nestle is not only the largest food-producing company in the world, but they also own a sizable piece of the cosmetic market, with huge holdings in L'Oreal, Garnier, Maybelline, and Lancôme. Global sales of cosmetics are expected to top $463 billion in 2026. In 2026, the Winter Olympics will be held in Milan, Italy, and the surrounding area. Anyone can adopt a gargoyle from the facade decorations of the Milan Cathedral. The campaign is a part of an effort to preserve the symbol of Milan. The price of a gargoyle is €100,000 or about $122,000 US. For about the same $122,000 in Italy, you could buy the Maserati Quattroporte luxury sedan. Believe it or not, Maserati is fully owned by Fiat. Fiat also owns Chrysler in the United States, meaning that they own Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. All of those companies will soon be owned by the same French company that owns Peugeot. Since 1882, Peugeot has been a major producer of high-end bicycles. The ultimate bicycle endurance race, the Tour de France, takes place every year in July. The Tour de France was won by U.S. native Lance Armstrong 7 consecutive times. It was learned in 2012 that Lance Armstrong used performance-enhancing drugs in order to win his titles. He was stripped of all. Also stripped of her title was Princess Diana after her divorce from Prince Charles, heir to the British throne, in 1996. She was no longer allowed to be called Princess, although her fans continued to do so. Princess is the number 22 most popular name for female kittens. The number 22 is called a master number in numerology, which means that it has an extraordinarily powerful vibration. I'm still not really sure what that means. Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys was the most expensive studio recording as of 1966 when it was recorded. Over 90 hours of tape was used to create that single song. Another beach thing in 1966 was the release of the movie Ghost in the Invisible Bikini. It was the last of the beach party movies from the 1960s starring Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon. Only Annette and Frankie did not star in this one. Boris Karloff did. Dracula? Huh? Annette is also Oscar winner Sandra Bullock's middle name. The birds, called Bullock's Orioles, are orange and black, just like their cousins from Baltimore. The birds and the baseball team. The first umbrella factory in the United States was established in Baltimore in 1848. The first recorded use of an umbrella was 3,500 years ago in Egypt as protection from the sun. Most smartest answer for today, believe it or not, it was in May of 2020. Communities were gradually lessening restrictions because there was a belief that COVID-19 was at the beginning of the end. That was corrected quickly. The sun's outermost atmosphere, the solar corona, is what can be seen during a total eclipse of the sun. Corona is also the name of the Mexican beer that mistakenly took various hits from the press throughout 2020. Many stories were published and repeated that people were now afraid to buy Corona beer, so sales took a dramatic dip. There were also some stories reflecting on how sales at Corona improved dramatically because the word Corona was at the top of everyone's mind. That simply was not the case. Corona suffered no more or less than any other alcohol business during COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus.